Many of you this summer have been heading out to the lake as levels continue to rise at Lake Mead. But even though the levels have improved over the past few months with all the rain and the snowfall, you can see it's still.
Shocking news has gripped the region surrounding Lake Mead as this large lifeline for water and power reveals a surprising twist. Lake Mead, after years of struggling with drought, is making a jaw-dropping comeback, and along with it, a truly terrifying revelation has surfaced. While it's definitely a relief to see the water rising again, there's an important question to be answered. Is this a sign of better days ahead, or does it hide something more terrifying? Join us as we dive into Lake Mead's incredible revival and uncover the fascinating truths hiding beneath the surface. After years of battling drought, Lake Mead is making a comeback that's nothing short of astonishing. The persistent drought has taken its toll on the lake, causing hardships for the Colorado River Basin and local communities. But now, the narrative is changing, and something is lurking under the surface of this turnaround. In the region designated to become Lake Mead, the Anasazi, a Native American group, settled. The creation of Lake Mead resulted in the submersion of numerous archaeological sites, including the most notable one known as the Lost City. The lake was named after Elwood Mead, who served as the commissioner of the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation from 1924 to 1936, overseeing the planning and construction of the Boulder Canyon Project, which led to the dam and lake's formation. Lloyd Joseph Hudlow, an engineer from the Bureau of Reclamation, came to Boulder City in March 1933 to assist with the survey and ended up as the project manager. Now, how was Lake Mead founded? Lake Mead was initially designated as the Boulder Dam Recreation Area in 1936, under the administration of the National Park Service. Its name was later changed to the Lake Mead National Recreation Area in 1947, and Lake Mohave and the Shivwits Plateau were subsequently included within its jurisdiction. Both lakes and the surrounding area provide recreational opportunities throughout the year. The water accumulated from Hoover Dam necessitated the evacuation of several communities, with St. Thomas, Nevada being the most notable. The last resident of St. Thomas left the town in 1938. As of May 23, 2022, the remains of St. Thomas can be observed through a dirt road and hiking trail due to the low water level in Lake Mead. Additionally, Lake Mead submerged the historical sites of the Colorado River landings of Colville and Rioville, Nevada, as well as the river crossing at Bonelli's Ferry between Arizona and Nevada. 6 years after the dam's construction, the lake reached an elevation of 1,200 feet. When water levels are lower, photographs of the Lake Mead shoreline reveal a prominent mark referred to as a bathtub ring. This ring appears white due to mineral deposits on surfaces that were previously underwater. There are 9 primary entry points to the lake. In the western region, there are 3 roads originating from the Las Vegas metropolitan area. Access from the northwest, specifically from Interstate 15, leads through the Valley of Fire State Park and the Moapa River Indian Reservation, ultimately reaching the Overton arm of the lake. But how many sections is the lake divided into? Lake Mead is segmented into distinct sections. The largest and closest to the Hoover Dam is known as Boulder Basin. The narrow passage, formerly referred to as Boulder Canyon but now recognized as the Narrows, connects Boulder Basin to the eastern Virgin Basin. The Overton Arm receives the flow of the Virgin River and Muddy River, connecting to the northern part of the Virgin Basin. Moving further to the east, you'll find Temple Basin, followed by Gregg Basin, which is linked to Temple Basin via the Virgin Canyon. When the water levels in the lake rise significantly, a portion of the lake located further upstream, encompassing areas like Grand Wash Bay, the Pierce Ferry Bay and launch ramp, and approximately 55 miles off the Colorado River within the lower Grand Canyon, extending to the foot of 240-mile rapids, which is north of Peach Springs, Arizona, becomes submerged. Additionally, 2 smaller basins, the Muddy River Inlet and the Virgin River Basin, become flooded when the lake's water level is high enough. However, as of February 2015, these basins remain dry. The view of Lake Mead is incredibly breathtaking. The lake is surrounded by rugged mountain ranges that provide a picturesque backdrop, especially during sunset. Within view of the Boulder Basin, you can see two mountain ranges: the River Mountains, which run from northwest to southeast, and the Muddy Mountains, oriented from west to northeast. Bonelli Peak is situated to the east of the Virgin Basin. The Las Vegas Bay serves as the endpoint for the Las Vegas Wash, which is the sole outlet from the Las Vegas Valley. Does Lake Mead have any drought and water issues? Like many other lakes, Lake Mead primarily receives its water from the melting of snow in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado, Wyoming, and Utah. The regulation of inflows into the lake is mainly managed by the upstream Glen Canyon Dam, which is mandated to release approximately 8.23 million acre-feet of water to Lake Mead annually, according to the Colorado River Compact. However, the releases from Hoover Dam have exceeded 9 million acre-feet of water each year, leading to a decline in Lake Mead's water levels since the year 2000. The outflow from Lake Mead, which includes evaporation and water deliveries to Arizona, California, Nevada, and Mexico, typically ranges from 9.5 to 9.7 million acre-feet. This results in an annual deficit of approximately 1.2 million acre-feet. Before the filling of Lake Powell, which is a reservoir similar in size to Lake Mead, behind Glen Canyon Dam, the Colorado River flowed into Lake Mead with little regulation, making Lake Mead more susceptible to drought. The water level in Lake Mead dropped significantly from 1953 to 1956, and again during the filling of Lake Powell from 1963 to 1965. However, during the wet years from the 1970s to the 1990s, both lakes reached their capacity, with a record-high water level of 1,225 feet in the summer of 1983. What happened between 1983 and the 21st century? In the decades leading up to 2000, Glen Canyon Dam often released more water than the required 8.23 million acre-feet to Lake Mead each year, allowing it to maintain a high water level despite exceeding its contracted water release. Since 2000, the southwestern North American megadrought has affected the Colorado River, with only a few years, namely 2005, 2008, 2009, 2011, and 2014, experiencing average or above-average conditions in the first 16 years of the 21st century. The period from 2000 to 2015 had the lowest water availability of any 16-year span in the last 60 years. While Glen Canyon Dam managed to fulfill its mandated minimum releases until 2014, Lake Mead's water level has consistently decreased. This decline in water level can be attributed to the depletion of the surplus water that used to compensate for the yearly water deficit. In June 2010, the lake's capacity was at 39%, and by November 30th, 2010, it reached a new monthly record low of 1,081.94 feet. Between mid-May 2011 and January 22, 2012, Lake Mead's water level increased from 1,095.5 to 1,134.52 feet, following a significant snowmelt in the Rocky Mountains, which led to an additional release of 3.3 million acre-feet from Glen Canyon into Lake Mead. In 2012 and 2013, the Colorado River Basin faced the worst consecutive water years on record, resulting in a reduced release from Glen Canyon in 2014, the lowest since 1963, when Lake Powell was initially filled. What was the point of the reduction? The reduction was aimed at replenishing the upstream reservoir, which had dropped to less than 40% of its capacity due to the drought. Consequently, Lake Mead reached new record lows in 2014, 2015, and 2016. The lowest recorded level was 1,081.82 feet on July 10, 2014. On June 26, 2015, Lake Mead reached another historic low, hitting 1,074.71 feet, marking the first official drought trigger elevation since the lake's filling. If the lake is below this elevation at the start of the water year, the Bureau of Reclamation enforces water rationing in Arizona and Nevada. The water year commences on October 1st to align with the seasonal Rocky Mountain snowfall, which is a primary source of the Colorado River's flow. Lake Mead's water level saw a slight increase by October 2015, avoiding the activation of drought restrictions. But did the water level begin to steadily rise then? The water level started to decline again in the spring of 2016, falling below the drought trigger level of 1,075 feet in May 2016. It reached a new low of 1,071.60 feet on July 1, 2016, before gradually rebounding. Drought restrictions were narrowly avoided once more when the lake level rose above 1,075 feet on September 28, 2016, just 3 days before the deadline, and the Bureau of Reclamation did not declare a water shortage. In 2017, there was a break in the consistent annual decline of Lake Mead's water levels, primarily due to a higher-than-average snowfall in the Rocky Mountains. This substantial snowmelt led to the lake recovering the water levels it had in 2015, reaching a seasonal high of 1,089.77 feet. The seasonal low in 2017, at 1,078.96 feet, was close to the levels seen in 2014, safely above the drought trigger threshold. Nevertheless, it remained 36 feet below the seasonal low observed in 2012, and it was anticipated that the lake would start declining again in 2018. Despite predictions of an imminent water shortage declaration by 2020, the upper Colorado River Basin experienced a snowpack of 140% of the average in April 2019, leading to inflows into Lake Powell that were 128% above the average. This resulted in Lake Mead reaching a water level of 1,090.20 feet. By December 2019, the water level in Lake Mead had reached 1,090.47 feet, approximately 10 feet above expectations. In April 2020, the water level stood at 1,096.39 feet, benefiting once again from a mountain snowpack that was 107% of the average. Since 2018, the water levels of Lake Mead have remained well above the 1,075-foot threshold that would trigger a water shortage declaration. In May 2020, the Bureau of Reclamation anticipated that ongoing drought conditions in the Colorado River Basin would lead to a Lake Mead level of 1,084.39 feet by 2022. However, on July 28, 2022, the water level dropped to 1,040.58 feet, marking the lowest level since the reservoir was first filled in 1937. What did this declining levels do to boats and harbors around? Because of the declining water levels, marinas and boat launch ramps have had to either relocate within the lake or close permanently. For example, the Las Vegas Bay Marina was relocated in 2002, and the Lake Mead Marina was relocated in 2008 to Hemingway Harbor. Marinas like Overton Marina and Echo Bay Marina in the northern part of the Overton Arm have been closed due to low water levels. Additionally, boat launch ramps at Government Wash, Las Vegas Bay, and Pierce Ferry have been shuttered. Nevertheless, marinas like Las Vegas Boat Harbor and Lake Mead Marina in Hemingway Harbor Horsepower Cove remain open, as do Colville Bay Marina, Temple Bar Marina, Boulder Launch Area, which is the former location of Lake Mead Marina, and the South Cove Launch Ramp. Alterations in precipitation patterns, variations in climate, heightened evaporation rates, decreased snowmelt runoff, and current water consumption trends are exerting pressure on the management of water resources at Lake Mead. This is particularly concerning as the population reliant on Lake Mead for water and Hoover Dam for electricity continues to grow. To address this, Hoover Dam was retrofitted with wide-head turbines designed for more efficient operation with reduced flow in 2015 and 2016, allowing for a reduction in the minimum lake level required to generate electricity from 1,050 feet to 950 feet. If water levels continue to decline, Hoover Dam's electricity generation would cease when the water level falls below 950 feet, and the lake would stabilize at a level of 895 feet when the water reaches the lowest dam outlet. So how was drinking water provided? To secure a continued supply of drinking water for the city of Las Vegas from Lake Mead, a substantial investment of nearly $1.5 billion was made to construct a new water intake tunnel in the middle of the lake at an elevation of 860 feet. This 3-mile tunnel, completed in late 2015 after 7 years of construction, plays a crucial role in maintaining the city's water supply. An estimated 6% of Lake Mead's water evaporates annually. Covering 6% of the lake's surface with floating photovoltaic panels could potentially generate 3,400 megawatts, equivalent to Hoover Dam's capacity. and significantly reduce water lost to evaporation in the covered area by up to 90%. In 2021, another estimate suggested that covering 10% of the lake's surface with foam-backed floating photovoltaics could conserve enough water and generate sufficient electricity to serve both Las Vegas and Reno combined. In December 2021, Arizona, California, Nevada, and the U.S. Department of the Interior joined forces to allocate $200 million for the years 2022 and 2023 to support water users who voluntarily reduce their water consumption or undertake projects to enhance efficiency. This initiative, in conjunction with various state and local regulations, is part of the 500+ plan, aimed at preserving 500,000 acre-feet in the reservoir, equivalent to 35% of its capacity. Simultaneously, agreements were reached with the Gila River Indian community and the Colorado River Indian tribes, expected to save an estimated 11 vertical feet of reservoir water. Why is Lake Mead rising fast, and what does this mean for the environment? After enduring several years of drought, Lake Mead reached alarmingly low levels during the summer of 2022. However, a recovery has been initiated thanks to above-average precipitation and snowpack that melted throughout the year. As of November 1, 2023, the lake's water levels stand at 1,065 feet, which is 20 feet higher than the levels recorded at the same time in 2022. Significant increases in water levels are not expected until the spring, when snow in the Rocky Mountains melts and flows into the Colorado River, ultimately replenishing Lake Mead. However, the previously drought-affected reservoir could experience a substantial surge in water levels in the upcoming spring, as indicated by a snowfall map provided by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, commonly known as the NOAA. El Niño, one of the two major climate patterns that significantly impact Earth's weather, recently emerged in June, and the NOAA has identified it as potentially historically strong, following the culmination of La Niña in the spring. But what did the map contain? The NOAA's snowfall map indicates that regions typically receiving ample snowfall, such as Michigan, northern Illinois, Wisconsin, and Minnesota, may experience 2 to 6 inches less snowfall during an El Niño winter. El Niño's warm phase often results in drier conditions in the north and wetter conditions in the south. In contrast, western states, including eastern California, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, and Arizona, could receive higher than average snowfall, with some areas possibly getting up to 10 inches more than normal. This increase in snowfall could significantly impact Lake Mead's water levels. While rainstorms benefit the reservoir, the primary source of its water comes from the melting snow in mountainous regions, primarily the Rocky Mountains in Colorado, Utah, and Wyoming. Improved water levels in the drought-affected Colorado River are attributed to a wetter-than-usual winter. However, for the third consecutive year, water allocations from Lake Mead will be subject to federally mandated reductions, as revealed in a report from the Bureau of Reclamation released on Tuesday. The report forecasts that by the end of the year, the water level at Lake Mead will be 20 feet higher than it was in January of 2023. While the winter precipitation and subsequent snowmelt offered immediate relief to the Colorado River Basin's drought conditions, experts emphasize that the challenges posed by a hotter and drier climate in the future, as well as the overuse of the river, persist. Reclamation Commissioner Camille Touton expressed appreciation for the above-average precipitation in the current year, but highlighted that the two largest reservoirs in the United States, which includes Lake Mead and the primary storage units in the Colorado River system, are still operating at historically low levels. According to the Bureau of Reclamation, Nevada typically receives 300,000 acre-feet of water from the Colorado River each year, but will face a 7% reduction in its 2024 allocation, with 279,000 acre-feet available. Despite this reduction, southern Nevada's conservation efforts and water recycling have traditionally led to the region not utilizing its entire allotment. In the past year, southern Nevada utilized 224,000 of its 300,000 acre-foot allocation from Lake Mead, according to the Southern Nevada Water Authority, which is commonly known as TGE-SNWA. John Entzminger, the general manager for SNWA, emphasized that while short-term hydrological conditions have slightly improved, they do not alter long-term projections. He pointed out the expectation of a warmer and drier future due to climate change, underscoring the importance of water users in all sectors maintaining their commitment to conservation and discovering ways to reduce water usage. Although local conservation efforts have currently helped stabilize southern Nevada's water supply, Ensminger anticipates more significant challenges in the future, characterized by a warmer and drier climate, possibly resulting in significantly reduced water availability by the 2030s, and certainly by mid-century. He noted that SNWA is making substantial progress toward its conservation goals, targeting 86 gallons of water per person per day by 2035, with daily per-person usage having decreased from 112 gallons in 2021 to 104 gallons from 2022 to 2023. The western region is grappling with a 2-decade-long drought that has led to decreased water flow in Colorado and its tributaries. As a consequence, reservoirs like Lake Powell and Lake Mead, which are vital to the West's well-being, remain only about 39% and 33% full, respectively. Kyle Roerink, executive director of the Great Basin Water Network, a water conservation advocacy group, stressed that climate change leaves little room for refilling these reservoirs. He pointed out that elevations have essentially returned to levels from 2 years ago and expressed concern about the hardships that lie ahead for plant and animal life, as well as human life. Roerink voiced doubt that water managers will take the necessary long-term measures to alleviate the challenges. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you would like to see more intriguing content like this, please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Thanks for watching.